Yo, what's up guys? We got one of those typical damage buffs in the balance patch. Often it's like, oh, it's like the 8% damage up, but a lot of these units can actually kind of use that. And Alicia was used before in a particular team, which was a Kabila boost into a Bastet boost into the Alicia. We can also use this with the Wu Yong, but I'll showcase that in a little bit later. For the speed, we actually don't need that much speed. I did do the calculations, and just to be in check for a 230 Kabila, you only need a 200, let me check. How much was it over there? We only need a 273 on the Bastet, which is relatively easy to get, and then we only need a 230 on this Alicia. And the main thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you kill Samath. So in this case, this Samath is not in tune, it's just a triple fight. But let's see how much damage this actually does. And rather than using a Samath, you can also use other leads such as Oliver. Oliver is definitely better for cleaning up like Camillas and those kind of things. But I'm very curious to see like how much damage are we actually going to be doing, because you want to either freeze something, but you don't know how much immunity there is on the enemy side, or you want to actually guarantee kill something. So in the case of a Samath, it's very easy to kill. So let's see how much damage we're looking at. We're looking at good 8Ks per hit. That's definitely not bad. So this will come back. It will be hitting on the shield. You do need will runes because of that reason. And now how much damage we're looking at over here. 22k could have been a little bit better. So the cleanup from here is definitely not the best out there. It would be better with an Oliver over here. But I guess into a Samath, like 24k onto most Samaths would probably provide the kill. So let's see how much we can kill with that. Because the main issue is, if they go Vanessa, you're probably not going to kill anything like that. Like 24k on a Juno is not going to kill it. So that is kind of a bit the unfortunate issue. I could hit this, but I have the issue of not being able to clear out the Hellfest over here. So let's see if there's any other team that would make it a little bit more sense. This one. So that's the main thing. Like if you're struggling with these kind of teams, a Kabila 33 lead is in most cases faster than a Triton in the first place. And Kabila can be used in a bunch of offenses as well. So the main thing is you're killing Camillas. Or not Camillas, you're killing Smaths. Not, did I say something else? I said Camilla a few times. Why do I say Camilla? I don't know. You're killing Samath. So the Samath is easy to die over here. This thing also dies. So if they're kind of on the squish side, you could hit those things and it would kill. You do also want the 100 crit rate, so therefore this does the full amount of damage. And with that double up hit, you most likely will kill everything. But yeah, Vanessa's, you're probably not really going to kill. And that's kind of the main issue. And I'm not sure if there would be a team out there that would maybe be a little bit more beneficial, that you can also kill that. But I'm not 100% sure about that yet. So in this case, also over here, I don't think you would kill anything. But the gamble that you could make is anything off will, and therefore could you freeze it? But I'm not really sure if that's a gamble that in general sense you would like to be taking, because you just have to go for a kill. If we go for this, we did actually freeze over here, and then you can go for the follow-up, and then it's super strong. But the thing is, I was lucky by that freeze, because this unit is actually on pretty low accuracy. And the odds on freezing this is like 3 times 35. I wouldn't really bet on it in the first place. Like I would not really be going for that gamble of seeing like, okay, how much is on or off will and can you actually kill that? So in main senses, it is mainly just killing off Samaths or killing something that's particularly really squishy, like a, what's it called over here on that right side. It's most of the time the Lucifers are pretty squished, so let's see how much damage we do on those. We did actually not kill it, but we did freeze it, and therefore we can go for the follow-up hit, and the follow-up hit is the strong hit. If it goes for something like that, it's not really a big issue, because you still have like the Samath cleanup. Should have put additional damage artifacts to this one, because then you would do a fair bit more damage. Apparently they don't like using skills over here. And then it's just an easy cleanup. You waste one more turn, and then from there, we can actually clean you up as well. So I would say the damage up definitely does help out a bit. But is it therefore really a thing that you should be runing up all the time for Arena Rush? If you're particularly having issues with Samath plus Triton, I would say so. Because in the end, teams like this are absolutely food for it. Like they're really weak against it. And with this, it's super easy to clean up. But yeah, once again, big issue is, would it actually do enough? And can you actually clear enough with it? Because it's just Samath Tritons or just anything Samath related in the first place. Then it's super nice. Then it's actually really an insane one. But let's actually look at a different style with a Wu Yong. So let's see if we use a Wu Yong over here. We give that the set of the Bastet. Therefore, we don't get shields, which does help out a little bit against the Samats in the first place. But now we have a complete slot open over here, which I could actually put anything in. And a unit that I was kind of thinking of is maybe a Rune. I think Rune damage would improve it more than going for like a Miriam. You could also go for like a Gemini in this slot. It kind of helps with like stripping and armor breaking. I think actually a Gemini might be pretty interesting in this slot because strip and armor break is the main thing that we're looking for. But let's first try it with this. Also, since I'm tuning on 4 units right now, I might be off key with the Alicia because it's still 25 boost. But let me do the math, how much more speed I need if I go for 4 units setup. Yeah, then I would look at 18 more speed than I have over here. So if the Samat doesn't move at all, then you're looking at less. With the Mirane, you get the speed buff, so it's still kind of fine. But if you would go for Miriam, then it would not be enough. If you go for Gemini, it would not be enough. But let's just see how it works if we do actually go for this. And let's, of course, also give this a triple fight. Okay, triple fight over there. Let's not care about these. Turn order is correct. Yep, is correct. Actually, would be almost better if you would have the other one move first, but doesn't matter that much. So let's go for you. Let's go for you. Yeah, it would be actually better if you move in front of you because then the speed tick of the speed buff is up for a little bit longer, which technically is better, but therefore you would also have to make both of them a little bit faster. But in this case, we're definitely still fine. So Amuse over there, or we go for the Curse Magic. How much damage are we dealing right now? So we're looking at 8Ks before. How much damage are we looking at right now? 10K. So it's kind of on the edge where you start killing just a little bit more. But if it's fully on enough, I'm not 100% sure just yet. I think that's anything but a Samath would probably, or like anything like super squish would probably still straight up survive. Let's see if well, Leia would 100% kill. Like that's definitely one of those we would absolutely kill. And that's the cool thing with this, like Kabila does outspeed a whole bunch of things. So Leia will definitely die in this. And then after the Leia dies, yeah, we actually did manage to kill a little bit more. I think like 10K is kind of on edge where you're hitting like 30K, no armor breaks. That's kind of the part where it's enough. But if you're looking at something like this, well, Grogan would definitely die, actually. Grogan does seem to be dying for this. Issue is, are you faster? Nope, it's not faster. And oh, we can go for all of this. I'm actually kind of liking this offense, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure if I will actually particularly use this in the Arena Rush, but it does do a fair bit of damage, right? That's, yeah, it's actually, it definitely is a fair bit of damage. Not sure to what extent I can keep this runed up while also ruining everything else up, because, of course, whatever I'm using right now is using the best runes that I have. But let's try this setup with a Gemini. Let's see how strong it is with a Gemini. Sure, you still need, like, your LD5 on this if it actually wants to work, but just want to see how much damage it would be against a proper team with that. So if we were to remove you and we put in a Gemini and then we put you on the set of you over here, we probably have to switch something out that we get an accuracy on the 6er. Accuracy over there, that should be enough, hopefully, I don't know. And then this team, yeah, you're particularly slower than that anyway. So let's see, we're definitely off tune over here. I think with the speed buff in the previous setup, we weren't. So I would have to add more speed to you in the first place. But if we land just a few of that, like even with the strip, it already helps me to get more freezes in. If the armor break is there, we're doing 18k damage on squishy targets, but it is a lot more likely that we would freeze anything, and because of the freeze, we have the rotation of the skill. So I would say that this is pretty strong of an offense with the Wu Yong, and yeah, that would definitely work. Let's see if we can hit something a little bit more spicy, a little bit more tanky. Let's see, these could be a little bit more tanky in the first place. Let's see if that actually does work out or not. So we hit this over here. There is an issue where they have shield runes, and because of shield runes, first the Gemini has to break the shield before it can actually strip. Or, well, it's better if it just, like, breaks the shield and then it doesn't have to go for the strip on the shield itself. Well, we did land 2 in the end right now, but we also have everything off, so then the odds of freezing anything, like 4 times over the 3 hits, you probably are going to be freezing anything at that given point. But on a tanky unit such as this, we're still doing a fair bit of damage. If we land the armor break, the rotation is an insane amount of damage. So, yeah, with that said, I would say that this is definitely not a bad team. Is it better than the teams that I've normally been using? No, but is this a new, arguably best in slot team if you don't have a Nefties? Yeah, I would actually say so. Like, I'm actually kind of liking this team. So in this case, of course, this is where you can just use like the Bastet and the Samath in there, or an Oliver, or anything like that. This is definitely one of those tests I would like to see with this team. It might be that I'm not fully in tune, because he does have a little bit higher lead, and I do have the Gemini moving in front. So in that case, you definitely have to be working with a little bit faster stuff. But let's see, hopefully he doesn't move. Okay, he moved something bad. Thank you. So like I said, you need that 15 extra speed to actually make it work over here. But let's see, with those 18Ks over there, it's 18Ks times 3. That's a hella kill in my book right there. So yeah, with that, hey, I'm liking this team. This is low-key actually pretty good team. Like, I was just kind of trying to do this for fun, but in the end, I would say that this is definitely not a bad team altogether. It's actually a bit stronger than I expected it to be. Let me actually showcase the runes of all of the units, mainly of the Alicia. I did pretty much go all out on the Alicia, so in this case, I just went for 230. It's not my fastest, but just kind of to pair with something. Triple fives over there is pretty fast. Triple five over there is decent on speed. And this thing, you do need to have will runes, otherwise the Smath will definitely smack pretty hard on you. Individual runes are, I would say, pretty decent. Some are a little bit more mediocre. Actually, these two are fairly mediocre. These two are kind of okay. I think like these two runes are really good, and the rest is kind of obtainable. Like, it's decent, but not too crazy. Oh, this one's pretty good too, actually. Then I went for attack up on the left side, and I went for crit damage 3 and attack up and a bunch of like everything on the right side. It's not really the best of artifacts out there. I think like a crit damage 3 in combination with an attack increasing effect is probably better. The crit damage more and stuff doesn't really help that much. Attack increasing effect also doesn't help, or additional damage by attack doesn't help that much. Attack increasing effect probably helps a fair bit more. Let's actually see if we have an artifact that has a little bit more of that. So yeah, this is more of this. Okay, it's just on the first hit with the first, rather than on all 3 hits. Do we still have one more wing? I'll just refresh one set over here, and let's see if that actually does do a little bit more damage or it doesn't. This team, we can definitely outspeed over here. Would I mainly use the Gemini version with the Wu Yong or not? I'm not sure. I think I would. But yeah, if you don't have the Wu Yong, then it's most likely that you just simply have to... Oh, that's... I think it's slightly a bit more damage, yeah. That's actually an insane amount of damage if you land all armor breaks. Wow. You could technically also do this with the Gemini in this slot, so let's make it a little bit more free-to-play friendly again. Then you would place the Gemini over there, and you would once again place the Bastet over here. But that is kind of the point where you're once again working with a little bit slower stuff. But it is still pretty strong, but outspeeding your, what's it called, Triton 33s with this is definitely a little bit harder. That's something where I would say is like, that's probably not really gonna happen that much. Wait, I had to steal your setback. Yep. So we go for this. Once again, you do kind of need the Alicia on like 18-ish speed faster with this. But this is something that if you want to make it a little bit more free-to-play style, that this would work out very strong as well. So you have all of that. You land this. And yeah, from here, you definitely like hella clear. Like if you're looking for a speed clear and you don't have a Zyros or anything that you're already working with, this might be a team that you're looking at right now. Because in the end, 12% extra damage, especially if you have to go into killing range, it helps out a lot to do that 12% extra damage. Like it's definitely really nice. Okay, this is definitely one of those where you would say, I think you can actually go for both. So let's say you keep in this team the moment that they're a little bit slower, and you go for this team the moment that they're a little bit faster. And yeah, I think that's also an easy switch up for both of the teams. So let's actually add in a little bit more speed on the triple fight over here. So this is what you just simply go into the moment that they are super fast, or you're contesting Kabillas on Kabillas. And the other time that they're a little bit more tanky, you go for the other team. And you can even go if they're like full-on tanky-ish, where you go for the Alicia lead rather than anything in the first place. So there's definitely a few options out there where you only use one damage dealer, but you can get a like fair amount of different kind of offenses out there from it. So once again, in this case, they're a bit slower. So we're going back to the Gemini. Is still ruined up? Yep. Yeah, I think that this is actually pretty nice where you only need one damage dealer to pretty much cover everything, like fast teams, slow teams, any kinds of teams. Over here, how many armor breaks we get? We get an okay amount of armor breaks. That's also the thing. You don't really need everything to be armor broken. As long as you just freeze 1 or 2 units, you're kind of good to go. Okay, that thing is crazy tanky as it seems. So therefore killing that will be a little bit harder, but Gemini is actually pretty decent for the cleanup as well. Same for Kabila. Like Kabila on this, like if you go crit rate, crit damage on the Kabila or anything like that, or just additional damage artifacts, Kabila already does do a fair bit of damage by herself. Let's see if we find a team where we would be certain to outspeed. I think in this case we are pretty certain to outspeed. Let's switch to the 44 attack lead and then go from a 44 attack lead perspective. So we still easily outspeed. We still easily go for this. We hit this over there. We did not hit on everything, but that's totally fine. And then we go for something over here. We probably kill 1 or 2 units. We kill 1 or 2 units. And then we go for the follow-up and we nearly cleared the whole team. So yeah, I'm liking this team. Actually, a lot more like I was kind of doing this just, let's see for fun and for the video and that kind of stuff. It's that I already have better teams out there. Such as the Nefties. Like the Nefties is just irreplaceable and it's just crazy strong. And would I really use this together with the Nefties? Not too sure about that, but as the way I'm using it right now, it is definitely very nice to be used, and it also gives you more options for using like a proper Wu Yong kind of team, which I would say, like, sure, you could still go for like the Lucian kind of things, but maybe you're already doing that and now you want a little bit of an addition, and I think that 12.5% extra damage that's on that S3 will definitely help you out on clearing a lot of those teams. And as you can see, like I'm clearing everything like super easy. This thing, let's actually give that a try. If I don't freeze anything, I will be in a bad spot though, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to kill anything. He will get a little bit of bar boost from the Nyx, but that's not that big of an issue. We do at least get some armor breaks. We get 1 freeze. So if I didn't get that freeze over here, I would have been hell at that. Like that is definitely one of those things. But the moment I land at least 1 freeze, and with that many units, it is kind of like it's going to happen where you freeze. Should have actually done for an S1 on you for the potential armor break over here. Also, the team on the cleanup, I like this cleanup. That's always a very important thing as well. There's always something alive, a Camilla or anything like that, that keeps alive, and then you have to clean that up. And this is a good team for cleanups. So in this case, it is quite a bit faster. It is the Triton. I'm not too sure if I were to be able to outspeed this. Plus, the fact is, if I go for the Samath, I wouldn't be freezing everything because they could be all on will. So this is kind of the teams where would be the hard edge, that if you have a super fast Capilla, then maybe you can get away with it. I do it on the 24 lead, but on the 19 lead, it's definitely too much of a gamble in my opinion. So I think that this is kind of the edge of what you could hit. I am curious to see if we go for this into this. Still good damage, even without tech buff. That's still decent damage. But yeah, that's kind of the edge of what you can or cannot hit. Also, if you go for the Wu Yong in this team right now, it's still something that I would say maybe is a little bit more tricky to hit. Well, what you could do is this. And then if you go for the Wu Yong over here, which is of course the better lead version. And we have to steal that once again from the Bastet right over there. And now we have quite a bit of a better lead. So the 28 lead. 28 lead is still in the end lower, but now he's just pretty much speed checking like a 116 on a 33 against a 120 on a 28. So you're kind of like on equal ground with that. And that is where it's possible to outspeed, and that's where it's possible to do. In this case, he actually doesn't have that many will runes, so you could maybe get away with it on just the Samath team. But in this case, I would kind of recommend this. And of course, you need like a little bit of extra speed on you, otherwise it doesn't work out and you still get cut. But let's say that I would have taken a turn over there, I would have freezed at least 1 or 2, and I would have killed the whole thing. But yeah, you need a little bit more speed if you want to be working with this team. So yeah, in the end, I would say pretty nice team. Let me know in the comments if you're using Alicia before the patch, or even if you're using it not before the patch, if you're planning to use it after the patch, of showcasing any of these videos, or maybe you have a different idea yourself where you're like, hey, I actually can start using Alicia over there. You can still definitely go for like a Tiana team and Alicia and something like that over there. You definitely have to use the S2 rather than the S3. I'm so used to everything using S3s. And that's where it kind of goes bad. Do you move? You move like that. Doesn't matter then. Freeze! Okay, we still freeze. We still kill. Yep, that was a mistake on my part. But still, fair bit of damage. Fair bit of damage. I'm liking the unit. It's not too bad. Am I actually going to be using this during Rush? I'm not sure yet, because I also have to run up like the Grogan and those kind of things. I would still say in most cases a Zyros will do a little bit better. But with the Zyros, it's sometimes harder to outspeed those super fast teams with like a 33 Triton or anything like that, which Alicia and a team like this has more potential to do so. So guys, thanks a lot for watching for this one. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see any other unit from the balance patch in a video, and see you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.